You can look up on Forbes easily the statistics of who's the rich and who's the poor, and the top 1% of the richest people in America, the 1% owns more money than the bottom 50%. Think about that just for a second. I mean, we're looking at complete elimination of the middle class. That I'm definitely in the less 50%, and I'm part of the minority. I don't think so anymore. I think we're part of the majority, the ones that are suffering. And I think we need to turn that around, and we can go back to the gold standard. We can go back to something that makes sense, you know? We can't just keep bailing out these companies and just making money out of thin air and printing all this money. We could use an asset that, you know, keeps its value. You know, you might see gold drop on the stock market, but that's because, I don't know, maybe the dollar's increasing by a little bit. But essentially, the gold is just going to shoot up. If you have any gold, hold on to it. Do not sell it. Do not sell it.
Exactly.
You got to keep it. I would even save even the littlest kinds of metals that you have. Like save up your aluminum cans.
Don't pawn your jewelry.
Yeah, don't.
Hold on to your jewelry. Hold on to the silver spoons that your grandmother left you. All that precious metals. No matter how scrappy and small it seems, when times get tough, don't bring that stuff to the pawn shop and get rid of it. Trust me, in the stretched out long picture of the future, you're going to wish you had that stuff. We're looking at gold that was, $240 just a matter of a few years ago, and it's at what, $902 today per ounce. It's going to go. It was higher than that a couple of weeks ago, and it's probably going to go way back above 1,000 again, which means even a little earring that you had in your drawer somewhere, someday it could buy you a meal.
Yep, I agree. Hold on to any precious metals you have. Unfortunately, you know, everybody's got that stranglehold on them right now, so it's probably really tough for people to go out and buy it really at this moment. But just to reiterate, again, you know, this is by design, and this is, you know, you see on TV the war on the middle class. That's not far-fetched. Like, they want a serving and a ruling class, and that's it. Massive amount of workers, and then a small percent of ruling. And people should probably wake up.
Adam, you were just saying to bring it, you know, make people realize what just happened. And I think it's, to put it in a nutshell and make it simple, the Federal Reserve just took $85 billion and gave it to, what was it, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? That's right. $85 billion. Do you think you think the Federal Reserve could, throw $40 billion to, local, or even national,
that's minimum,
common
by the way.
people stuff. Yeah.
The $85 billion is the minimum they're going to give them. It could raise up to, actually, it's been predicted by several people to $3.5 trillion that it could end up being.
Yeah, but now, one day they give the mortgage companies $85 billion. The next day they give, I think it was $75 million or $750 million to AIG. It was something like that.
Okay,
But now
AIG's looking at I thought it was like a couple hundred.
I'm not exactly sure of the numbers. I know they're big freaking numbers, though.
All right, well, yeah. On the talk of big numbers, I was watching. I watched a little video by this guy Kevin Phillips. He wrote a book. It's called "Bad Money: The End of American Capitalism." And he was giving a speech, and this was in April, mind you. He was giving the speech, and he was calculating all the money it's going to take to bail out and this and that. And like Adam was saying, with how we're on this cliff and we don't know how deep it is, this guy was talking in the teens of trillions of how serious this thing can get. You know, like I said, we haven't even touched the credit card crisis yet. And it gets a lot bigger than that, you know. So it could be a hell of a lot bigger than we think it is. And it's just being downplayed like everything else always is.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, when the Federal Reserve lends countries money, you know, for military stuff or for these bailouts and such, the interest that is paid on these loans is paid by us through our federal income tax. Is that how it works? So the government is assuming debt for us to pay interest on, And I mean, imagine the interest on 85. Just a number like you're talking teens and trillions, Jay. Just imagine what the interest is on $85 billion that our government just signed on the dotted line for us to pay the interest on that number. And
Yeah, we can't even.
Hey, while you're saying that, Joe Biden just today, this guy is a vice presidential candidate for Barack Obama. This guy wants to be the vice president of the United States. It hasn't happened yet, and he's already came out and said today the taxpayer is going to have to absorb some of this shock. He's already leaning us into the slow process of getting used to absorbing this giant scam that has happened and this giant theft that's happened in our country. So for people that don't think this is going to affect them, there you go. The guys who supposedly could be in charge really soon in our country are already warming you up to it. This is going to affect you, and people should get upset, and people should start having discussions of their own, just like this.
Yeah, instead of cutting the taxes for the rich, why don't we start taxing them more so that we can equal out the playing field? Yeah, why are we the taxed the most? We don't have more money than them. Like I said, less than 50% of us have less money than the 1%. Why don't we tax the 1% and give back to the poor? We need a Robin Hood. I think that's what we need.
I think probably within 6 months to a year, we're probably going to begin to see some 60s type civil disobedience, marches, and so forth. Once people really wake up. See, people can't focus on the issue right now because they got the presidential election going on, and they got this crisis which they're threatening is going to, if we don't do something within a week, all hell's going to break loose. But nobody's saying exactly what hell are they talking about. They keep saying a crisis this is going to be terrible. What exactly is going to happen? You don't hear anybody describing what this so-called crisis is.
Absolutely.
But yet we're going crazy to avoid it.
Absolutely.
So
and
it's
on
weird.
top of that, people don't seem to understand. Everybody says, "Oh my God, please save us," just like with terrorism. "Oh my
Right.
God, please save
And
me."
they're
Please
screaming
make,
for that now.
Please make me safe. Let me tell you something. They start printing up all this money, and they're just going to prolong this and make this 10 times worse than it has to be, right? If we were truly capitalist, we would let these banks fail. Yeah, we'd probably see some tough times, but they're not going to be nearly as long as they will be if we prolong this mess and keep trying to bail it. Like, it's just upsetting, and you all need to wake up. Like you said, we need some 60s style civil disobedience and rallying, and wake up, man. Like I said, I've been preaching this forever, and my grandmother and my father are finally saying, "Wow, kid, you kind of might be right on some of this stuff."
I got people I'm talking to saying, do you think that could actually happen to us, Adam? Yeah, I think it could actually happen. And
It's happened before.
It's happened before, and not just once in the past, several times in the past. And we're not talking about just in the United States. And in order to fix this, you need some kind of civil disobedience. And my fear is that people in this country have been just way too comfortable for so long in the warmth of their house, in front of their televisions, paying attention to pop culture and all these things. They really have no idea what they're in for. And my fear is that when the time for civil disobedience comes, they're not going to know what to do. Maybe they'll have flashes in their head about something like Forrest Gump. They saw all the people, gathered around in Washington to do something. But people really aren't going to have a clue to do, and that's what I think. But as far as this goes, how bad can things get? I don't know. All I know is this. This is paper. This is nothing but paper. So right now, consider this a great deal. That you can take this piece of paper and you can go out and buy things that you actually need to help get you through a crisis should it occur. Take this piece of paper and trade it for some canned goods, dry goods, storable foods. Yeah, you might as well. Just take this thing to the supermarket, stock up on as many canned goods as you can. The other things you need, a water filter. Where are you going to get water if the water shuts off? You know what? Take this out and buy yourself a firearm and some ammunition because you might need that too. Your Second Amendment is going to come in really handy. I mean, it was a Second Amendment for a reason, for situations just like this.
Second Amendment's for defense against a tyrannical government. That was its ultimate purpose.
All right, we're running out of time, so once again, for Joe, Adam, Jay, and Richard, we were discussing the greatest theft in American history, the Wall Street buyout. Thanks.
Thank you.